An anthology on the bad, the short-lived, and the forgotten shows and events in television history. You are listening to It Was a Thing on TV.
Now, Shotty LaRue from my son's favorite show on CBS, which was just picked up again, Frank's Place.
Episode 573, submission number 1073, Quark. Quark aired on NBC from May 7th, 1977. Remember that date, folks. To April 7th, 1978 for 8 episodes. Space. It's dark, it's lonely, it's desolate, and it gets dirty. True story, we still have a problem with debris in space. But in 1977, we didn't have a solution to clean up the debris in space.
Yes, because in a year, freaking Andy Griffith was going to get all that junk from the moon.
But fast forward to the year 2222, it's still dark, it's still desolate, it's still lonely, and it's still dirty. Enter Adam Quark, the captain of the United Galaxy Sanitation Patrol cruiser, who spends his days with his oddball crew picking up space debris in giant space baggies. Among his trusted allies are Chief Engineer Gene, a transmute who has a set of both male and female chromosomes and zero control over which set is expressed at any given moment. Navigator pilots Betty 1 and Betty 2, both of whom have the hots for Quark, and both of whom claim that the other Betty is a clone of themselves. Science Officer Dr. Ficus Pandorata, a vegeton who descended from sentient plant life, and Andy, a robot. Nothing special, just a robot. The crew reports to Perma 1 under the command of watchful bureaucrat Otto Bob Palindrome, a nightmare to his underlings and a toady to his superiors. Together, Adam Quark's team of hotshots explore strange new worlds, seek out new life and new civilizations, and pick up their garbage. Quark was the brainchild of Buck Henry, one of the creators of Get Smart. The other one was Mel Brooks. But Buck Henry, having dipped his toe in a lot of Get Smart, you can tell there's a lot of Get Smart DNA on this show. Sight gags, quick one-liners, instant chemistry between the castmates, and an ability to just pick up dialogue wherever, whenever. And a hero who tries to play it straight but ends up the butt of many of the jokes. Drawing heavily from the original Star Trek and Flash Gordon serials, Henry wrote and produced a pilot of this show with the help of David Gerber, who we talked about in previous entry, Lady Blue, and David Cassidy, Man Undercover. and Mace Neufeld. I don't think we've talked about him. The story relied heavily on Quark's desire for more adventure in his life, and his Grand Superior, referred to only as the Head, all too willing to give it to him since he's out in the depths of space anyway. Most of Buck Henry's wit and heart was largely gone by the time this show was ordered to a full series run, but more on that later. Let's talk about the cast. Adam Quark is played by Richard Benjamin, who at this point was best known for his roles in Catch-22 and the original Westworld movie. Gene is played by Tim Thomerson, best known as Johnny on 5 episodes of Angie, Johnny Darko on 13 episodes of The Associates, and Jerry Baskin in the TV adaptation of Down and Out in Beverly Hills, one of the first TV shows on the Fox television network.
Greg,
Yeah.
where do you know Tim Thomerson from?
Oh. That 1 week of Match Game Hollywood Square Tower.
That, but also, wasn't there something else from around that time that you vividly remember Tim Thomerson from?
Well, I know he's in The Wrong Guys with Louis Anderson.
Wait, did somebody drop my name? I haven't heard my name in a long time.
Oh no, we've had so many ghosts on this podcast. I didn't realize I was going to summon the ghost of Louis Armstrong.
Louis
I'm sorry.
Armstrong? What?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was going to summon the ghost of Louis Anderson here on the podcast.
What do you mean, Ghost of Louis Anderson? Is there something I don't know?
Chico, do you want to tell him or do I?
I'm not going to tell him.
Why didn't you ask me if I want to tell him? I'll tell him.
Wait. Oh, God.
Hey, Louis, you died a number of years ago.
What do you mean I died a number of years ago?
This is why you don't tell people this sort of thing. They always take it the wrong way.
Now, hold on a second. I always want this. Louis, I got this board right here. Now, I got a question. How many people do you think decided to go, like, out in the sun on a 98-degree day like the other day?
Is there a certain number you want me to say?
Yeah, certain number.
I'll say 69. Oh!
So, Louis, do you want to say it? Do you want to see if it's on the board?
Is it up there? Oh!
Oh, 69 is not on the board, Louis. I'm sorry. Wait a second, Chico. What was that ghost beside you? Wait a minute. It couldn't be.
Hey, it's me, Louis Armstrong. Anybody call me?
No, I didn't. I called the ghost of Louis Anderson. I didn't call the ghost of Louis Armstrong.
And I say to myself,
What
a wonderful world.
Oh, oh, yeah.
Well, wait a minute, guys. Of course he can be with Chico, because you know what he has. He has all the time in the world.
We got all the time in the world.
No, Louis. Please don't.
Hey, I got a very special Family Feud question. Top 7 answers are on the board. Here's the question. Name the possible cause of death of Louis Anderson.
Diabetes.
Show me diabetes. Number 5 answer.
Oh, my God.
Greg, do you have a better answer?
No, I don't. We move on.
No, I don't.
You have control of the board, Greg. You want to play or pass?
Oh, fudge. No, I'm gonna pass. You can. It's all yours, Chica. Please, just.
That was my best answer. I got nothing after that.
Okay, good. Let's quickly move on.
We were talking about Tim Thomerson. I can't believe 8 episodes, From 2009 to 2010 of The Late Show, you do not remember B.B. Boberson.
Yes, I do remember B.B. Boberson because we brought him up on this podcast, that character. In fact, if I can find it, I'm going to play a clip of it because Don Giller has a whole series on his channel.
Okay, but seriously, going back to Tim Thomerson, I thought there was something else that he was in that sort of like resonated with Greg.
He was in Who's Harry Crumb with John Candy. That resonated with me.
We'll go with that then.
Nowadays, he's the voice of Cyrus Temple in the Saints Row games.
I mean, everyone loves the Saints Row games.
Oh, yeah.
Don't speak for me.
Ficus was played by Richard Kelton. He never spent any time on any other show, instead bouncing from guest role to guest role until his death in 1978. Dr. O.B. Mudd, played by Douglas Fowley, who was in just a lot of old Hollywood classics, Battlegrounds, Singing in the Rain, that sort of thing. The Bettys, Betty 1 and Betty 2, are played by Doublemint twins / Tony twins, Patricia and Sib Barnstable. As far as series work, this is as prolific as they get. Nowadays, they're more known for holding annual Kentucky Derby galas to benefit diabetic research, which I think is pretty awesome.
Okay, that's nice.
Man, I could have used that since it was the number 5 answer on my little question.
Oh my, no.
You decided to bring it up there, Chico.
You can see the look on my face right now. It would,
Hey, you know, just like diabetes being on that board, that also describes my blood sugar level. Is it up? Yes! Ding!
Otto Palindrome is played by Conrad Janis. Mork and Mindy.
Conrad Janis, who was on an episode of The Streets of San Francisco, guys.
And if I'm not mistaken, that would be
A Quinn Martin production.
And the head is played by Alan Caillou, who is better known as a writer of The Fugitive, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., and Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. He was also in Everything You Always Wanted to Know About Sex, but were afraid to ask.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that Alan Caillou is the inspiration for the children's TV show Caillou.
That bald-headed freak! And Andy was suit acted by Bobby Porter, a stuntman who performed in Land of the Lost, Malcolm in the Middle, and Battle for the Planet of the Apes. And everybody except for Dr. Ficus would play a key role in The Pilot. A deep space phenomenon threatens to destroy the galaxy, and Quark's ship is the only one in the area. Palindrome and the Head instruct Quark to go on a suicide mission to save their civilization, but he's so far away they can only contact him by telegram. The two of them argue over telegram costs and spend most of the episode trying to reduce the number of words in the message so as to keep the cost down. Meanwhile, Quark and company accidentally saved the day anyway.
We got a name. I'm going to guess this is maybe the voice of the computer interface. The character is called Interface, so I'm guessing that's the computer interface. Voiced by Misty Rowe, who we talked about on When Things Were Rotten because she played Maid Marian.
I will tell you this. She was not the voice. In fact, she was the body, and somebody else was another pair of arms. She had 4 arms, Misty Rowe. As a reward, Quark gets his permanent mission to scour the universe for garbage. By the way, creator cameo. As a dignitary, Buck Henry played an uncredited role. The pilot aired on NBC as a one-off comedy special, and while it did respectably well and was indeed buzzy, there was no interest at the network level in a full series at that time, and it was silently relegated to the dustbins of TV history after its May 1977 airing. 18 days later, something happened at the movies.
Oh, what was playing at the movies, Chico?
A little film called Star Wars.
Oh, let me look. Oh, it's from the guy who did American Graffiti.
No way is this going to have any effect on anything, right?
No.
Turns out it had an effect on everything. All of a sudden, everyone was clamoring for something with the elevator pitch requiring the following phrase. It's like Star Wars, but...
Because after May 25th, 1977, as we've said many times, everybody wanted a Star War.
I think before we get into the series proper, there's several things that should be mentioned. This pilot episode was only half an hour long, whereas, from what I can tell, the series was an hour-long format. Second, the competition. I'm guessing, based on this competition, the only reason it got picked up was because, as you said, it was something Star Wars-ish. It aired at 8:30 on that Saturday evening, May 7th. It went up against the Bob Newhart show, which this would have been second to last season of Bob Newhart and also would have been rerun season. But on ABC, it went up against the first half hour of Thunderball. Everybody loves their James Bond. So I'm guessing maybe the ratings aren't so good, but since there's a big desire for Star Wars / science fiction material, they decided to pick it up.
Yeah, I'm going to have to argue with you on that hour-long Quark thing because it shared the hour. It aired at 8 o'clock on Fridays. It shared that hour with CPO Sharky.
Okay, I'm just looking at the first episode. I haven't pulled up any other schedules, but the first episode, once it returned, was an hour-long episode.
Once Star Wars hit, NBC decided to revisit Quark and scrambled to get a full season out for mid-season. That mid-season premiere was in February 24th, 1978, and the one thing that they were missing, the one thing that would have just tied everything together, and this became obvious to anybody who was watching and paying attention, they did not have Buck Henry writing. So a lot of comedic bits were missing. Without him, it just became this generic sci-fi adventure series, albeit with some comedic elements, sort of like the Orville, but without the heart. Gene was reworked, and this is the Star Wars influence coming in, into a Han Solo type badass when his male side was showing. And episodes featured Quark as some sort of Flash Gordon meets Buck Rogers, facing off against either an obvious Klingon clone or an obvious Mig the Merciless clone. For example, the first episode, May the Source Be With You. Perma 1 is in a state of emergency and the Gorgons have created the ultimate weapon to defeat the United Galaxy. Palindrome gives Quark the secret weapon, the Source. Quark must believe completely in the Source in order to defeat the Gorgons. The Source is voiced by Hans Conried in an uncredited role.
He voiced Snidely Whiplash. What more do we need to say?
Episode 3, The Old and the Beautiful. Expecting his usual garbage hauling assignment, Quark is excited to hear that the head has authorized an extended romantic interlude with Princess Karna of Camamore. Troubles ensue when the crew encounter a stray space baggie carrying a virus which ages Quark 2 years for every hour. Playing Princess Karna of Camamore, Barbara Rhodes, who we talked about on Tuesday's show. She was in Baby Talk. But yeah, she was best known as Penelope Cushing's in The Shakiest Gun in the West with Don Knotts. Also, in an uncredited role as a handmaiden, this would be her first televised role, Kirstie Alley.
Not just first televised, first credit on IMDb.
And beginning either on this episode or last, whenever Gene slipped into his female persona, he had a voiceover dubbed over by Ann Prentice, best known for My Stepmother is an Alien, where she played the voice of a bag, not unlike the kind of bags that Quark collects.
You know who else was in My Stepmother's an Alien? Joseph Moore from Second Chance was in My Stepmother's an Alien.
Episode 4, The Good, the Bad, and the Ficus. While on a routine mission, the ship is accidentally pulled into a black hole, which splits the crew into good and evil counterparts. The exception is Ficus, who remains the same because there are no good or evil plants. There are just plants, leading both sets of crew members to scream at him in their usual exasperation. After Quark confronts and defeats his evil self on a nearby asteroid, he sends the evil crew back through the black hole. As the evil crew is being sent back, we hear the evil Adam Quark say, "Keep your deflectors up, do-gooder! You haven't seen the last of this face!" Episode 5, Goodbye, Columbus. Quark and his crew are sent on a suicide mission to Columbus to discover why no one has returned alive. Quark and his crew fall prey to their fantasies as part of a fiendish plot by the dreaded Gorgons to drain the minds of the United Galaxy's most brilliant scientist. And Quark for some reason. Quark encounters a beautiful dream girl, Ficus encounters a teacher, the Bettys encounter dancing clones of Quark, and Gene encounters his favorite comic book character, Zoltar the Magnificent. In order to save his crew, Quark must destroy the obelisk and free the shape-shifting clay people it enslaved. Zoltar the Magnificent is played by Denny Miller, best known for his role as Duke Shannon on Wagon Train. Episode 6, All the Emperor's Quasi-Norms, Part 1. While on a routine mission, Quark and his crew are captured by Zorgon the Malevolent, the most vicious Gorgon space pirate and half-brother to the High Gorgon himself. Zorgon tries to learn from Quark where to find it, which represents a problem as Quark has no idea what it is. Meanwhile, Zorgon's daughter, Princess Libido, has fallen in love with Ficus. Ficus agrees to a meeting with Princess Libido in hopes of letting her down gently because, as he explains to her, "Where I come from, we don't kiss, we pollinate." The line of reasoning fails to dissuade her. The next scene finds both of them lying on the floor, on their backs, sticking their arms and legs up in the air, and saying "B, B, B, B" over and over again, increasing in rapidity and pitch in anticipation of the arrival of the bee. Andy and Gene escape and disguise themselves as Gorgon scientists, and Gene is asked to give a lecture on it. The episode cliffhanger has Quark horrified to realize that the location for it that he gave as a bluff has turned out to be absolutely correct.
Should we start with Princess Libido or Zorgon the Malevolent?
Let's start with Zorgon the Malevolent here. Zorgon the Malevolent, the most vicious Gorgon space pirate and half-brother to the High Gorgon himself, is played by Ross Martin, best known as Artemis Gordon in The Wild Wild West. His daughter, Princess Libido,
Oh, I hope Greg's here for this.
Joan Van Ark.
Oh, yes, that's fantastic. So,
Al-
okay, hold on. How long is this before she first appears on Dallas?
Well, this was March of 1978.
So this was right before, because her and the character of Gary don't appear until, like, I think second season, which would be 78, 79 season. Because as we've established, the first actor who played Gary Ewing was David Aykroyd. And then Ted Shackelford came in season 3.
She appeared in the two-part season 2 premiere episode of Dallas in September of 78. So this is roughly 6 months earlier.
And after that, she voiced Spider-Woman.
That's right, she did voice Spider-Woman on Spider-Woman. Oh, and also, funny enough, here's an amazing discovery about Joan Van Ark.
Now here's the host of Amazing Discoveries, Mike
Klaus.
With Greg Diener.
She was in an episode of Wonder Woman, guest starring in, and you know who also guest starred in that episode of Wonder Woman?
Ted Shackelford.
Yes! You just did a random guess.
Random ass guess.
The first time ever on this podcast, he did a random ass guess. He was correct. It was probably going to be either that or Michelle Lee.
Let's go to part 2, which would be episode 7. Ficus sacrifices himself and marries Princess Libido to save the crew. Jean manages to impress the Gorgon scientists with its lecture, and it and Andy escape.
Okay, I just realized it's hilarious that Joan Van Ark is playing a character named Princess Libido.
You're just figuring this out, Greg.
Yes, I just fucking figured this out. Whoever came up with that name is a genius.
Quark and the Bettys are sent down to the planet to be eaten by a Lizagoth, but are saved by the Baron of the Forest People. With the Baron's help, Quark locates it, which turns out to be a small stone on a necklace. Subsequent events, the door being opened, the disintegration rays deflecting off the stone, lead Quark to believe he is invincible, when in fact, it is nothing more than a powerless rock. Quark returns to Zorgon's ship, survives the struggle with Zorgon's monster champion, and leaves the planet with his crew after Zorgon accidentally shoots Libido, freeing Ficus from his obligation to her. Unfortunately, when Quark tries to report on what happened, Palindrome has absolutely no interest. They almost die at the hands of Valine Ewing, and Otto Palindrome has no interest. And that leads us to the final episode, Vanessa 382436. During holiday number 11, an advanced new ship's computer, Vanessa, is installed on Quark's ship for a test flight as an experiment. Vanessa's efficiency in controlling every aspect of the ship is intended to show human crews are obsolete. A seeming attack by a Gorgon ship turns out to be a simulation programmed by Vanessa in an attempt to prove her superiority to Quark. Vanessa begins acting erroneously and then tries to destroy Quark. Quark and the crew confer in secret to discuss disconnecting Vanessa. Vanessa then incapacitates the crew and takes control of Andy. Quark is able to disable Vanessa and throw her out the garbage hatch. As Quark, Palindrome, and the crew celebrate number 11, we see Vanessa drifting through space singing Born Free. So essentially, it's a 2001 Space Odyssey parody. And that's it. That's the show. In the wave of things that are like Star Wars, but this was one of them. And I do believe, according to TV Tango, which has a listing for all of these episodes, actually they don't have ratings, but I do have a grid where it was up against, oh boy, you're not beating Wonder Woman in 1978 on CBS.
You're also probably not beating Donnie and Marie on ABC. Though from what I could tell, about half the time Donnie and Marie got preempted. Because I did see different movies and specials airing in that 8 to 9 o'clock hour.
Quark was ordered for mid-season to displace CPO Sharky, while Sanford Arms either moved around or was canceled.
If I remember correctly, Sanford Arms only aired 5 episodes, so it was totally off the schedule. Actually, it says 8 episodes, 4 unaired, so maybe only 4 episodes aired. But even then, if it's 4 episodes that aired, it would have been gone probably October of 77, not February of 78.
Alas, even a single Emmy nomination for costume design in All the Emperor's Quasi-Norms Part 2 could not save Quark from its ultimate fate, as NBC decided to shelve it for good this time in May of 1978. Quark was not given a home release until 2008 when it was released on DVD. It's since gone out of print and commands a hefty amount on the secondary market. As of this recording, Amazon had 1 copy left for $55, or roughly $7 an episode. You can watch the entire series right now for free on YouTube.
One episode was uploaded to the Classic TV Rewind channel, which is actually Sony's place where they release television episodes on YouTube. It was released 7 months ago, but there's an opportunity to watch the show if you want to see it in pretty darn good condition.
And not to say that it was ever forgotten. If you're a fan of Breaking Bad, footage of Quark was playing in the background while Gail Benacher was making a video of himself singing Major Tom Coming Home. Well, there you have it. Quark. It's like Star Wars, but funny. Or at least it tried to be, but ultimately they only managed to get another 7 episodes from the pilot, and it became a thing on TV.
You can find us at our website, itwasathingontv.com, on Facebook at It Was a Thing on TV Podcast, and elsewhere at It Was a Thing on TV. You can find us on any podcast player, and we're also on YouTube, where you can subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our releases, including what's coming up next time. When we come back on Tuesday, we're going to cover a series that actually, we don't even have an episode number for it. It's not that it's something that recently was just found. We never actually put it on the list, even though I've mentioned in the past, hey, this should go on the list. So I'll just say it's going to be submission 50,000. You know what? I don't care what Greg says. I'm making it 50,000 because we're not going to have 50,000 submissions, and that's awfully darn funny. But anyhow, this series is a revival of a very popular TV series from the 50s and 60s, and actually got revived not too long ago by HBO. This version had the same characters from the original version, not the same actors though, and it just didn't work. Was it the characters? Was it just bad timing? Was the original series too fresh in people's minds? We'll dive into that right here on Tuesday at It Was a Thing on TV. Thank you as always for listening. Stay safe, be kind to each other, and come back next week for that episode.
Wow!
Here's, I love Friday nights because often we feature this. And are you like me? Do you love true tales of the Old West?
Oh, I think we all do.
It's so
I love it.
romantic and evocative. And
Yeah.
you can almost smell the
almost.
sage. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, time for another True Tales from the Old West with Bob B.B. Boberson. Bob, take it away.
Time once again for True Tales from the Old West with America's foremost Old West storyteller, Bob B.B. Boberson.
One night, I was the unlucky soul who drew the short straw and had to be the night hawk. You know, the one who has to stay up all night and guard the saddles. So Bill 12 Fingers, Hickson, and Emmett Dalton are getting some shut-eye. And there I am chewing a stick. Next thing I know, it's noon and I'm on the ground unconscious. Come to find that in the middle of the night, desperados come into the camp and raised hell. 2 days later, we found them east of the Langhoffers' place, and they's all dead. That's a true story. I'm gay.
This has been True Tales from the Old West with America's foremost Old West storyteller, Bob B.B. Boberson. We'll be right back.
So that's what happened to Gene.